Hi there, this is Carrie Gatto with Keller Williams Realty, and today on Let's Get Down to Business, I'm talking to Amy Wheadon, who is a pediatric occupational therapist and owner of Kidshine. Hi, Amy, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you, Carrie?
I'm doing so good. I can't wait to dive in and learn more about your business. Could you just start us off by describing your business for us?
Sure, absolutely. So, as you guys said, I'm Amy Wheadon. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been in the field of OT for 22 years, mostly working with kids. And Kidshine is my pediatric outpatient private practice that I actually started in my basement back in 2016. So, yeah, so we started with just a couple of kids. I borrowed all of my own kids' toys and put up a swing in my basement and started treating. And from there, we grew to be in 3 different locations, and we have a variety of different programs. So basically, what we do at Kidshine is we focus on helping kids to maximize their success in their everyday occupations. That's pretty much what occupational therapy is all about. So for kids, their everyday occupations are school, play, peer interactions, and just development overall. And so what we do is we evaluate kiddos who have challenges in these areas, and we help to support them by helping their strength, helping their confidence, helping with their motor skills, with their self-regulation and sensory skills. And we continue to treat them until they're ready to fly on their own. Um, and we use a variety of different activities that are all meaningful and something that the child really connects with, because when a child connects with a particular activity, that's where you can see that growth. So it's
Hmm,
a really fun place to come work on skills.
okay, awesome. And what inspired you to start this business?
Again, so being in the field for a while, I had started working in schools, and I noticed that just the scope of what you can do in a school as an OT versus what you can do in an outpatient clinic, it's very different. We just have different areas that we're able to target. And I just wanted to be able to target different things. I really wanted to look at how challenges were impacting kiddos across all areas of their life and what we could do from so many different perspectives to help support them. And I did work in outpatient clinics for a little while and said, you know what, I want to try this on my own. And I want to try to add this little unique twist, which is something that I started doing right after I opened up in my basement. And I created a program called the Exercise Kids Boot Camp Program. And so basically what we do is we look at exercise and we look at how does exercise make a kiddo stronger? And we know that it helps to build strength, it helps to build balance, it helps to engage the core, it helps with coordination. But I also looked at how high intensity exercise helps kids from a focus and self-regulation perspective. So this is something that would have been hard for me to do in the school. And it was something I dabbled with when I worked in other clinics. But finally, when I was on my own, I was like, you know what? I really want to give this a try. I want to make this evidence-based. I want to do research on it. And I want to grow this program within the House of Kidshine. And so that's what I did. And so now when kids come to Kidshine, they have the opportunity to participate in the Exercise Kids Power Bootcamp program. And it's basically, I don't want to call it CrossFit for kids, but it's like a lot of high intensity exercise. So you see kids of all
Wow.
ages flipping tires, doing med ball slams, running up a warped wall, pushing a sled, using a battle rope. And again, building a ton of strength, building community and friendships, but also releasing those endorphins and those calming chemicals to help them to be able to regulate and focus. So it's really cool.
Right, definitely. I can think of a few kids who would love that. What age range are you working with?
So typically our catchment area is about 2 years old to 16 years old, but within the boot camp program, we start as early as 18 months and go all the way up through teens, 16 to 17, 18 years old. So we pretty much run that gamut. I would say our sweet spot is a 3 to 5 year old group, and then a 5 to 12 year old group are our two biggest like sweet spots in terms of when parents reach out to outpatient clinics asking for help, because
Okay.
that's when they're starting to see it the most, whether it's in preschool or in elementary school. That's when they're starting to see that kids are really struggling to the point that it's impacting their ability to be successful in school and to show the skills that they have. But then what we have found is that kids stay for a really, really long time. So
Mhm.
I have some kids who started with me back in 2016, and they have discharged from the pediatric OT part of Kidshine, but they're continuing to do boot camp classes. So we keep continuing to make classes for them and show them how exercise can become a part of their lives for fitness, but also for regulation.
Great. So, do parents usually bring children because there's a developmental delay or some kind of issue?
So we see kiddos who have a whole bunch of different diagnoses or concerns. We see kiddos who have fine motor delay, who have gross motor delay, kiddos who have a hard time just with written output. A lot of kids who have an uptick in anxiety, that's been, especially since the pandemic, something that we have seen tremendously on our caseloads, and regulation, and how regulation impacts anxiety and how anxiety impacts regulation. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see kids that just, they have to move their bodies all the time, and they're doing that because they're seeking that input because it helps them to calm and focus. And we see other kiddos who may be a little bit more what we call like tactile defensive or oversensitive to certain types of input. So they might be avoiding certain activities that will help foster their development. So we look at those root causes and see what we can do to help kind of further along those milestones and help the child to be safe and help the child to feel confident and help the child to be a part of their own future success.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Yeah, so it's really addressing so many emotional and physical things that, you know, could benefit from this. That's great.
Absolutely.
And where are you located?
So we have 3 locations right now. Our largest location is in Rowley, Massachusetts. And that is our, we call it state of the art, but it's like my dream clinic. So we have a whole portion of the clinic that's dedicated specifically to the boot camp program. And we do a lot of our groups there. And we find that groups are really the best way to help foster that organic social skills and organic problem solving and organic movement types of situations. Then we have a smaller location in Amesbury, Mass, and that's a very serene location. It's a warehouse style location. We have a Miracle Farm, which is a speech therapy clinic that shares that space with us. So we have a lot of crossover clients there. And
Right.
we literally next week are opening our 3rd location in
Wow.
West Oxford. Yeah, very excited about that too. That is a smaller location as well. Definitely a great location for sensory seekers or for kids that really need to have like free roam of the whole place to be able to figure out, how to navigate their environment. And what we do in this particular clinic is we make sure that we're setting up the environment to be things that they can access in all areas of the environment in the clinic. So they're wherever they're going, they're learning, they're exploring their development, and it's developing, and it's a lot more child led.
So you've come a long way from your basement.
A long way from our basement. Although it's funny because I was in the West Boxford location. I live in Boxford, so we
Right.
started in Boxford, and I'm like, oh, I'm back home, and it reminds me of like a larger version of what I had set up in my basement. And my basement was no joke. I had a zip line in there, like
Oh, wow.
so. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff down in my basement, but um, definitely all 3 of the clinics sort of have their own personalities and their own, unique twists to them. And we're just really excited to be able to help as many kids as we possibly can.
Yeah. What's something that your clients or the parents of the children might say that they love particularly about your services?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is that I've gotten so much feedback that we have such a dedicated staff, and I'm so lucky to have the staff therapists who I have. So I have about 15 therapists, all occupational therapists and occupational therapy assistants on staff who work directly with the kiddos. I still see some kids myself as well, and all of them take either one boot camp class or one other group class in our Rowley location to run. So they can be a part of that group piece as well. But I know that the parents really can see how dedicated the staff is to each individual child and each individual family. And I think the other thing too is that we really focus a lot on empowerment for kids. So and empowerment for families as well. So we really want to give kids and families the tools that they need so that they can continue what we're doing in the clinic when they're not in the clinic. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that carry over. We want to see them be able to like notice their own successes in life. And so by having the parents and the therapy team and the kid all on board, we see that that happens more quickly. And then I
Yeah.
would say the last thing is community. And this is one of the coolest things. I love sitting in my office in Rowley and watching the parents who are walking around. It's a very large building. So they walk around the outside of the building and exercise and do like walking together while their kids are participating in boot camp classes. And our boot camp classes are something that's open to the community. So they're right on our website. And so anybody can sign up. You don't have to get OT. A lot of our clients do boot camp, but you don't have to get OT to do the boot camp classes. So it's really a cool place for people to come together, and we see the kids forming friendships together, and the parents forming friendships together. And so the parents will talk about things that, you know, that they're facing with their kids and with their family and navigating the IEP process and all, you know, tricky things with school and other things. And then the kids have this opportunity to have their niche, like to have their extracurricular activity. Because a lot of these kiddos might have a harder time on a soccer field, or might, you know, have a harder time in dance or karate. But when they come to a boot camp class, because they're all run by me and my therapy team, we know how to facilitate success for each kid in that class. And
Right.
it helps them to feel like they're successful.
Yeah. That's so great. Awesome. Um, and anything else exciting coming up that you'd like to share with our viewers?
So yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to grow our West Boxford site. That's pretty exciting. And this summer, one of the things that we're doing is we're branching out from boot camp a little bit and offering a bunch of other groups at our Rowley location and our Amesbury location, actually, that are more, they're not quite as boot campy or an exercise based, but they're more extracurricular based generally. So for example, we have an art class, a yoga class, a Zumba class, a gardening class called Pots to Plates, where they're going to grow their own food and then cook it. We have a survival warriors class. We have a couple of groups that do use exercise to work on emotional regulation skills. So there's so many different options for kids to explore other types of extracurriculars that are also going to be therapeutic at the same time. So we're excited to see how that goes this summer.
Absolutely. That's so great. And lastly, what's the best way for people to find out more and figure out if this is right for them or connect with you directly?
Yeah, so our website is probably the best way to find out more. And so that's www.kidshine, KIDSHINE -OT.com. They can also follow us at kidshine.ot on Facebook and Instagram. And they can also follow at Exershine Kids, because we sometimes will post like some of the fun activities we do in our boot camp classes on those pages as well.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Amy. This
Yeah,
has been really fun and look forward to checking out all those websites.
awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, definitely. My pleasure. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Down to Business.